and see if you're a winner in this week's Peacock Card Drawing. This week's prize is furnished by Air Dorrance in Morrisonville, New York. It's a Kohler Hourglass Bath Bubble Massage with a retail value of $800. So watch News 5 and see if you won this fantastic Peacock Card Prize. And good luck from WPTZ and Air Dorrance.
And finally tonight, the story of a local girl once blinded in a tragic accident.
But this story has a happy ending. The little girl's sight has been restored. News 5's Christina DeFranco explains how.
The simple task of coloring might have been impossible for 4-year-old Stephanie without a series of operations that saved her left eye. About 10 months ago, Stephanie almost lost that eye when an ash landed in it while she was playing near a wood stove.
I didn't think we were going to save the eye. I mean, actually, after I seeing the white and seeing it being so, not seeing a pupil, not seeing an iris, not seeing really any distinctions in the eye.
3 operations later, Stephanie can see, thanks to the Lions Eye Bank, which arranged the donated corneas that made those operations possible. She still has a long road ahead. Constant medication, more operations, and therapy.
I think she's going to have aggressive therapy. By meaning aggressive therapy, I mean by putting a patch over her good eye to make her other eye work harder.
Despite the constant trips to the doctor, this charming little girl has managed to smile for the camera. She's now the official poster child for Lions Eye Bank. Christina DeFranco, News 5, Champlain.
Oh, I love happy endings.
So much life ahead.
Yes.
We'll check now on the weather. Here's Tom.
Not the greatest.
We're on. If you read the Plattsburgh Press Republican, you've seen this picture about 3 weeks ago on the 26th of March. Stephanie, Laurin, and friend. Her friend is right there. There's the friend. I'm Bob Venn, and you're watching Hometown Cable. Our program is called What's Going On Here. And this beautiful little girl on my lap right here is?
Stephanie.
Stephanie Laurin, yes. And you are a popular little girl with a picture all over the place. Her dad right here is?
Jeff.
And her mom?
Lynn.
Lynn. Laurin, we're on the, what's the name of our road?
McRae Road.
The McRae Road.
Yep.
The home, you people who've been around here for years know this is the old Arl Bayshore farm. Now it's the Laurin farm. And it has been for the last 10 years?
About.
Okay. As we get started, we have a very touching story to talk to you about this morning. And I hope you'll stay tuned in and you'll hear about this beautiful little girl, her family, and all the problems they've had in the past year. We'll start right off maybe with, who is Jeff Laurin?
Well, I don't know.
Tell us your dad, where you were from originally, and so forth.
I've been in the area most of my life, really. Just a small town boy. I lived on Stetson Road, and I've been farmer most of my life.
Went to school?
I finished high school, and I went to Canton for a year and a half.
Oh, you're going too quick. You got to tell me, Shazy Central Rural School?
Shazy Central.
Green, did you play soccer?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
A championship team?
Pretty much. Every time I was there.
Your coach was the popular?
Mr. Brendler.
Yes, the George Brendler, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, then you went on to Canton and majored in what?
Ag tech. I was mostly an ag engineer, diesel mechanics, surveying, stuff like that.
Okay. Of course, the Laurin farms, the Laurin family from down on the Shazy Landing Road for years. It was a large family. The father's name was
Tim. Yep.
And there's about 5 boys and a couple of girls, and they're all in this area. All right. And you married this pretty lady right here, and your maiden name?
Langto.
Langto. And your mom and dad's name?
Mona and Leon.
Yeah, they live on South Street, right near me in Champlain, New York. And you went to school at?
Northeastern Clinton Central School.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we got to get. I always want to call it Champlain, Lynn. All right, and you've been married about 7, 8 years. I think we mentioned earlier. 7 years, and you've been living here all that time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you have a family of 3.
3.
Okay. Starting with this boy right here.
What's your name?
Joa.
Yo, Joel. And this is Stephanie, we met, and you have a third one. Where's your brother?
Ian.
Ian. Got his picture here? Mom's got to show us the picture. There. Look, point it up to that camera right there. See? That's Ian. And how old is Ian?
5.
5 years old. And you are?
No, 6.
You're 6? How old are you?
No. Ian.
Oh, he is. Okay, how old are you? 3?
5.
You're 5. And you're 4. You're the baby. Okay. Are any of you 3 children married? You're not married?
No.
You're not either? Okay, well, we got that settled. All right, why we're here, and tell us that I guess that came with... Your mom and dad is...
Paul and Angel.
Okay, and they live now on the Stetson Road?
On the Stetson Road. They've been there, yeah, ever since.
I think I mentioned I used to live on the Stetson Road. Calvin, I hate to bring this up, but I used to live on the Stetson Road, also where Jerry Nevada lives now. And great place. I lived in the town of Champlain. I was supposed to go to school in Chazy and went to Champlain Central.
Yep.
Okay, this article in the paper here, as I look at it, says transplant makes brighter world for a 4-year-old girl. And why would a 4-year-old girl need a transplant in her eye? We're going to try to find that out now. The problem started about when?
May 17th.
1990.
I know that date.
I'll bet you do.
Just a childish accident, and she happened to get some ashes in her eye. And
now that's ashes from a
wood stove.
From a wood stove type. Okay.
The thing about it too, the ashes are concentrated. You can't consider it like a cigarette ash or something that's a lot less concentrated. Like I'm gonna say, it's the doctors didn't even realize that it was ash. They figured it was something else. There's no way the ashes could have did that. They made us bring the ashes down just so we could get it down factual, that we could prove that it was ashes. Like you say, an alkaline burn. It was an alkaline burn.
To make sure they understand out there was no heat in these ashes at all. They were not warm. They were not hot. Absolutely cold.
That's right. That's right.
And I didn't know about it till the paper here that it actually was because of the concentration, the alkaline in the ashes itself.
Exactly.
So these ashes are dangerous, and so I think anybody out there should know you don't just throw your ashes anywhere. There's a lot of small children running around. And it's very easy to... Obviously, I didn't know you could get burned with ashes. Did you know that before?
No, it's not in the eye. I guess, from what I hear, you can even put ashes in between your a sweat spot. Like if you got under your arm, if you want, or something here, and it'll burn you. It'll actually give you a red rash, and you'll be irritated by it, and you want to take it off. And in her eye, well, when it started, we tried to wipe it out of her eye. We tried to dilute it and try to get it out of her eye as much as I could, but it was so instantaneous that there was no fighting it. It was already done before I could even correct the problem.
I think the article said, I heard it, that the eye turned nearly white at the time. It's just too late to do anything.
Oh, yeah.
It happened that quickly.
It was instantaneously. Like I say, the moisture in the eye just made like a little paste, and the paste just took right over.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me get the mother's point of view here, Lynn. You were home at the time.
No, I wasn't. Jeff was home.
You were kind of lucky you weren't home, maybe.
Yes.
I lose all sense of reality when things like this happen. I'm not good around accidents.
Lynn's like that.
Lynn's like that too? Good thing we're not home in those cases. When my wife had the children, I went the other way. He wants to hold that, right? Well, go ahead and hold that then, Mom. He can talk just a little bit, all right? You would like to hold it too long. Now it's Steph's turn. Here's Stephanie. Can I call you Steph?
No.
No? What have I got? What do I have to call you? Stephanie. Okay. All right. So this happened in the evening or during the day?
Okay, about 1:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
And what I did is well, first of all, you take care of your family. You try to get the mother informed, and you get the 2 boys to, have a place to go and everything like that. Once I got that out of the way, we went down to medical center.
Okay.
Yep. And I think it was Southwick, right? Dr. Southwick?
I'm not sure. Jeff.
Anyways, I'm not too sure. I'm not good
Okay.
at the names, but Dr. Southwick, let's say, he grabbed me or us, and we went in there right off, and he started diluting it with just a little bit of a squirt bottle, something. I wasn't sure what it was, and trying to take some more out. And there was a couple bigger chunks that came out. But he says, I don't know exactly what to do. We should go down to Plattsburgh and see
Mommy.
Dr. Dallin. So, in a matter of not even an hour, I was in Plattsburgh, and we were at Dr. Dallin's office, and we're diluting her eye. We diluted her eye for 2.5 hours with a saline solution. Just rinsing it down, and he kept on taking litmus paper. You know how you check alkaline and acid? Just kept on touching your eye with litmus paper. And he kept on considering if it was still active burn. He kept on saying dilute it, keep rinsing it. And like I say, 2 hours went by. We once he knew he had stopped the initial burn, he says, now I can't do anymore.
Was she in pain during this time at all? Was she crying a lot? Or
I don't think she was crying in the matter of pain, but she was crying in the matter of there was a lot going on.
Oh yes, confusion.
There was a lot going on. Why is this happening? And well, like I say, when it first started, I started to I was going to try to put her to bed. I didn't even sense that there was something the matter with her eye.
Let me just stop right here for a second and mention that this is you figure, well, it's not that bad, and when you get around the eyes, you don't take any chances. I recently was trying to work on a battery at my house, and I don't know what I did, but I was taking the cap off, and I was checking to see if there was some water, and the battery actually come up and hit me right on the eyeball. And I went in and took the cold water right away. My wife said, you better call the medical center. I said, no, it's all right. Well, she called, and they said, come right away, and could have lost the eye. You just don't realize. You just can't do that. Okay, you want to hold on just a second? You want to say something to me? You go to school? Yeah, where?
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. That's in Shazy. Peter Pan. Where's Peter Pan? Shazy. Who's your teacher?
Mrs. Stewart.
Well, good. Do you go too? You stay here with Mommy and help the dishes, right? Help clean the house? No?
I try to eat.
You try to eat? Well, you try to eat. Well, listen, I don't only try, I succeed. I eat quite a bit myself, all right?
We're healthy people.
Okay. Well, getting back now to, you were thinking maybe, you weren't too concerned about it at first. But then when did you really get concerned? When you were talking with Dr. Dowland?
Yeah. Well, when you're a child, I was concerned right at the beginning. But once I sensed that there was more the matter with it, I had to do. Well, they always say that your most crucial time in any kind of injury is right at the beginning. Your first hour. So it was like I had to do as much as I could within that first hour, and then, like I say, Dr. Dowling said there's still a chance of her losing her eye, and there's a lot of possibilities of this and that happening.
All right, let's stop just a second again. When he first said that, except for the shock, had to scare the heck right out of you.
Oh yeah. Well, we were by that time we were almost all together there again. The two boys and the mother, we were all down there, and we had to get organized because Dr. Dowling was saying you have to go to Albany now. This is you figure at 1:30 and then 2 hours go by. Within 4 o'clock we were on our way to Albany. 4:30, 5 o'clock that night.
And by this point, I hadn't even seen her eye. When Jeff called me, I was at my brother's, and that's not very far away. You figure not even 5 minutes. And when I came home, she was sitting on the couch quietly with a towel over her eye, her thumb in her mouth, and I asked her if I could see her bobo, and she said no. And so I let her be. So I was staying home with the boys while Jeff took her in to the doctor's. So when she had left, I really hadn't seen what her eye had looked like at that point. So when Jeff called me, he called me from Plattsburgh saying that we had to go to Albany. So I was pretty surprised. When he left, and because of the fact she wasn't crying, like you figure she'll go in, she'll get her eye rinsed, she'll come home, and everything will be fine.
Yes.
And he calls me up, I'm in Plattsburgh, pack your things, we have to go to Albany. I was pretty shocked.
No question about it. Did your parents know about it at this time?
I know my mother did.
She did at the
I'm
time.
sure I must have
Trying to
told.
inform everybody. Well, me being on the farm, you have to sort of get set up with your parents.
Yeah,
my mom and dad have been pretty good about trying to get everything scheduled around us. Having her get the best of treatment. And on the way to Albany, well, you got to figure. Top priority was to get her down there, and the chores and everything else in my life had to take a back seat. Your obligations and something else. So, well, all of us. It's not just me. I want to say we all had to. And when she initially went down there, they put her right in Albany Medical Center for 2 weeks. And
2 weeks from that time, and you came home. You had to come home. You got a farm. Right?
Yeah. Well, like I say, I think my mother, their grandmother and grandfather, took them for the first 2 days probably, and then once I came back, because she was going to need things, and Lynn decided to stay down there, with her all the time. There wasn't no coming home. The nurses and stuff that you have there are all right, but she just felt, well, my obligation to be down here with this little girl. She's only 3 years old, and she'll be by herself, and we're a long ways away. So 2 weeks go by, and they were both down there together. And the second phase of this.
Well, bless you. Right on TV, we had to bless you.
The second phase was to try to get the pressure of the eye to reduce, because after an injury like that, if you got any kind of burn or anything, if burn usually swells up. And after it swells up, it tries to pop, try to get a blood blister or whatever. Well, the doctors down there say the eye has the same tendency to do it, but it can't scab up. It's got that white layer on it, but if it can still puff up and actually burst, they call it. So they gave her a lot of, I don't know, a lot of medicines. I gave her the amounts that it took to keep her eye from ulcerating or whatever it was. And like I say, 2 weeks back and forth. The children were.
Oh, yes.
The two boys are up here, and the mom and the little one's down there, and we're living in two different spots and trying to keep whatever we can going. And the whole thing there at the beginning, it got as stressful at the beginning as it is, just going up and back and forth right now. But I'm saying it was very stressful, just having all that. And
just ask Lynn a minute, Lynn. When you were down there during this 2 weeks, did it give you any encouragement at all? I mean, every day you had to have this.
The only thing I can say is that the floor that we were on is all very sick children. So when I was there, yes, I was there with a child that had a severe injury, but yet the children around her were terminally ill with cancer and stuff, and it just gave me an attitude where I'm lucky still, It just was a whole experience.
And the parents there, you gave a lot of encouragement to each other. I take it you all had. Was there anybody else with eye problems at the time?
Not
you
at
recall?
that time.
Not at that time. Huh?
Mostly cancer. We had a little boy that fell 25 feet out of a tree. A lot of broken bones in his face and stuff like that, but not any eye injuries at that time. No.
Now this little lady here says we had a little meeting when I first came in, and ever since then she just has been as pleasant as everything. You and I are two of the most pleasant people possible, right? Yes. And we get along good together? Here, it gets me right there. Give me right. All right. We'll take a short break. After that, I got to recover from that, and we'll be right back to you. You're watching Hometown Cable. What's going on here? I'm Bob Venn. Calvin Caston on the camera. Stephanie Laurin, her mother Lynn. Father Jeffrey and Joel, right?
Yep.
Okay, we'll be right back. Thanks for watching. During our short break, Calvin was wondering if we made it quite clear enough about those ashes. These are just ordinary ashes, right, Jeff?
yes, out of that wood stove.
That means that if you've got them in your fireplace, if you've got them in a coal hob next to your wood stove, and they're there, and if they play with that, they can get burned.
Yes, yeah.
Be forewarned.
The intensity is sometimes, I think, just a matter of the wood stove itself a little bit. If you got a real efficient wood stove, it's going to burn them down, and you're going to burn whatever wood you got down into a real concentrated form. But my wood stove, like I say, I burn on an average of about well over 20 cords of wood. And you bring out ashes probably once every 2 weeks. And the thing about it is that stove being so new, burning them down so much, the forced air behind it and stuff, the whole mechanism of that stove, it's gonna do a real good job of burning the wood.
Is it safe to say that when you take them out of the stove now, and you don't leave them lying around, or were they in a hob at the time, or?
Well, when you take them out, sometimes they are, and when you do, and other times you don't. That the thing gets full enough, you just put them in steel pails, and I usually draw them away.
Even outside, if you put them in a pot, they could do the same thing outside.
I think
right?
if a child was to find some ashes outside, you'd have to be careful too.
So be forewarned, and eyes are not to be fooled with. All right, so now, Lynn, you were down there now. You were talking before for 2 weeks. And Stephanie was just in a state of limbo at that time. And the big problem, you told me, was the pressure in the eye.
Yeah, I think at that point they were concerned about getting the pressure under control. They were saying that her eye could actually dissolve. So she was on hourly drops all through the night. I don't know exactly what they were giving her. I imagine a prednisone and whatever else. She was on quite a few different medicines at that point. But again, I think at that point, the main concern was a pressure buildup behind the eye.
And you were staying right in the hospital, were you? In her room?
Yes, I was. She was in a room where there was 4 cribs in one room. So we could have up to 4 babies a night in a room. It was pretty interesting. We met a lot of people.
And she was in bed all the time at this time, I take it?
Actually, no. She led, from whatever time in the morning, we'd get up and they had a playroom. They had
Was she in pain?
No, because at that point the nerves in her eye were damaged. I don't know if they were completely destroyed or what, but that was another thing that was everybody was so amazed about, was because this little girl was going around, her eye was completely white, but yet she was playing and running like any other normal child because, you know, she wasn't in any pain.
So there came a time around, well, how soon that they said you could probably do something for the eye?
Yes, I'm not sure how soon after.
You remember how?
Well, they were concerned about saving it first. The
Yeah.
doctors never gave us an extra day. Let's say they never let us look into the future and say.
Bob Venn here has an assistant today by the name of Joel, and he has the other mic, and he's helping Dad get this. Thank you very much, Joel. Go ahead.
Like I was saying, they sort of. They didn't let you look ahead. The initial thing was to save the eye, keep that pressure down, like you said. And then once the doctors realized they could do that, they sort of said, well, we'll try to get her sight back. But they never gave us percentages. It was never a big thing of hope. You know, they were sort of saying, well, we've saved the eye now. Yeah. The next thing is to see if we can get eyesight. They never said that we will get eyesight.
Did they say get eyesight with her eye, or did they talk about transplants at that time?
No, they wanted to keep her eye. They wanted to make sure that they kept that eye first because they have a better result. They felt that the results would be better if she had her own eye. Okay. And that's when they started deciding it's transplant time. You know, with the corneas and stuff.
Now, what happens at that point? How do you? Who arranges for that? The doctor arranges for this?
Yes. We switched a couple doctors. When she stayed the first 2 weeks in Albany, there was one doctor that followed her case pretty much at Albany Med, and then she was turned over to another doctor. He's the specialist. He's the one that's come through for us, Dr. Bellin.
All right, here we have Stephanie. I have pictures here of 3 people. Can you tell me who's in this picture?
Mom, Stephanie, Dr. Bellin.
Dr. Bellin? Yeah, and he was your doctor? Was he nice? Yeah, he was good to you, wasn't he? Made you better? Huh? Yeah. Did you ever wink at him like this? Yeah, did you ever wink? I'd go like that with your eye? Yeah. Did you flirt with him? Did you tell him you liked him? You didn't tell him that yet? You're going to tell him sometime, right? Okay, this is doctor right here, and he was the final doctor?
Yeah, he's the specialist. He's
right.
Dr. Bellin.
Yep.
There's Stephanie.
Well, actually, we're still seeing him right now. And from the first cornea transplant, we were let down. You have one done, and then you see it go back that way, and the doctors analyzed it. You know, this is him now. This is all his doing. He analyzed it, and like I say, he wasn't one to give us much of a hope for the next. You know, he said, well, we tried it this time, and it didn't take for this and that and the other reason.
Well, you remember some of the reasons?
Well, the first cornea took, it's when she, I don't know where, we're not sure how it happened, but she got infection in the eye, which caused her to have a white spot and an ulceration. But the first cornea actually took for, I think, well over 6 weeks.
Now, for we people, like myself, who should know but don't know, what is the cornea? Is that the middle of the eye?
The outer layer of
the outer layer of the eye.
Layer. It's just a thin.
Yeah, the outer lens.
And that they get that as a donation. That's the Lions Club and so forth. Yes. Do this, and they're donated from people who pass away.
Yes.
Does it have to be from another child's eye, or can it be from a grown-up's eye? Do you know?
It's preferred. It's preferred to be a child. Now, it doesn't have to be a young child, but they take in consideration when you have a cornea transplant that the younger the eye, sometimes the better for the younger patient.
Do you have to get the right color?
No,
cornea doesn't have color?
It's clear. It's very clear and transparent. There's no color to it at all.
Okay.
Like you say, they were The first one didn't take because of the infection.
How long would you say after you had the operation did you find out that it wasn't going to be successful? Something was going to be a problem.
I believe it was about 6 weeks after.
She had come home.
Weeks.
She had come
yeah,
home.
she'd
You were
come
home, right?
She was doing regular activities and right back to her old self. But like I say, we had a setback from an infection.
Okay.
The cornea transplant itself was a very nice one. The grafting was very nice.
So we're talking last summer this happened, right?
I believe she had a tissue transplant in June, so it was around July, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you found out that wasn't going to work, you went down. You waited in line to get a second cornea.
Well, you get put on a waiting list, but because of Stephanie's age, we were very lucky. The longest we've waited for a cornea is 3 weeks, whereas some people wait as long as 18 months.
Okay.
But because of her age and everything, she was. They moved right along with her.
So this operation then that gave her the cornea she now has was last fall?
This cornea here, this cornea was done the 7th of February, I believe.
This last one.
This-
Was there a second one?
Yeah,
She's had three.
Second one that failed?
second one
She
failed
had
too.
a second one, and they didn't do a full cornea transplant. They replaced only 2/3 of the cornea that they had done the first time, and that one just wasn't as successful. That one pretty much rejected on its
You
own.
get pretty discouraged at a time like this? You have a right to be. You have a right to be, right?
definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, we seen too is, let down for the second time. You weren't encouraged on the third one
Yeah,
too much.
yeah.
But the doctors were saying, Dr. Bellin again, he was saying that the deadline is a year. Once a year goes by, you should either have some kind of sight or some kind of use of that, because the brain and the muscles and everything that's involved in the eye start to weaken enough where you don't recover from it. And so when the third one took, we were happy. I mean, we've been,
Oh, yes. But now, even though it's a year, everything looks fine right now,
it
right?
still looks very nice,
Very
and it's
good.
very clear, and it's very healthy.
Okay, and she certainly is, you would never know any problem at all with this young lady. She's just taking it out. She's over there helping run the camera and looking in the eyepiece, too. Now, we've seen her picture, and her picture's in many places, aren't they, Lynn? Now, this is a health...
Healthcare News, that's out of Albany. And
Well, first of all, she's a poster child. What's her official title?
she's a 1991 poster child for the Lions Club. They're promoting the eye donor bank at this point.
And that covers 26
26
counties
in the state of New York.
in the state of...
Oh, I'm upside down. No, I'm not.
Okay, there we are. It's on the northeast, going right straight down to Albany, and south of Albany a little bit also. 26 counties. She's a poster child. And the big article here in the news, and on some of the milk cartons. Crowley's milk, vitamin A and D skim milk, and there's her picture here. And let me just read a little bit here. It says, help someone see the future. The Lions Eye Bank needs you. Sight is a precious gift and is one that you can share. A nonprofit organization, the Lions Eye Bank, works to restore sight through cornea transplants and research. Vision-impaired children and adults often wait as long as 18 months, as Lynn said, to receive a cornea transplant. By pledging to donate your eyes, you might give sight to a person who has been living in darkness. Help someone see the future by becoming an eye donor. And the Lions Eye Bank serves 26 counties throughout New York State. And she is the poster child. And this is throughout, and then there'll be other articles in different papers. All right, here's some brochures, again, with Stephanie's picture. Now, I don't suggest anybody do this so they can become a poster child.
No.
Nothing is worth what she went through. But she has been this beautiful child here, and these posters, and these are in the area, too.
There's some in the area. We've directly distributed in two places, at the medical center and at Musso's in Shazy. They told us we could get some more, and I think the Lions clubs in the area could help us too. You know, they could help get you some.
I see the article in the paper indicated that they aren't getting as many donors for eyes as they had been in the past. They didn't indicate why. Have you ever heard it mentioned they used to get as many as 2,000 a year, and now they're down to maybe 3,000, 300 rather, annually now.
Yeah, this is the first time the promotion program with the little girl was the first time that they tried this, and they wanted to see if they could increase those things again.
Now, you were never told whose eyes they were, whether it was a child. Were you ever told?
No.
Nothing at all. You just know that she is well and is a camera person now. Look at now she can earn a living. You listen. You get the same salary I get. All right, you can get the same thing I get because you've helped today. All right, and so what is her position right now? What is the next thing that you look forward to? She has to go down to her next appointment to the doctor about when, Lynn?
She'll be going May 3rd. She'll be seeing her cornea specialist, and also she's going to start seeing another doctor. As far as that goes, she's already started. Now we're into aggressive patching of her healthy eye to make her use her injured eye and make it stronger, strengthen it.
The thing that she's saying there, doctors explain it to me like this: you put a cast on your arm for a whole year, take that cast off, and then try to use that arm. So the little girl has been without use of that eye for almost a year, and all of a sudden you've got everything that's there to make it work again, but it just hasn't been used, So
any muscle the same way too. Now I see she was coloring in her coloring book. Now, have you noticed that she's coloring more than before, or that she's working more at it?
She seems to be doing much better.
More. Now, how many times do you go to the doctors in Albany? How often do you have to go?
Oh, up until recently, we were going just about every week. Just about.
Oh yeah, steadily every week, once a week, and sometimes 2 times a week. If there was an operation or something on a week on one of those things, there'd be like a Tuesday she'd go down, and I'm saying she'd go down because a lot of the time she's been the one doing this. Mm-hmm. She'd go down on Tuesday and they'd have an operation, a 1-day operation, and then all of a sudden he'd want to see her that Friday or that Thursday, So sometimes it's been 2. Things have looked up. I'll tell you, we've had 2-week breaks right now for 2 weeks in a row that we haven't. We get to straddle a week and then go into the next one. So it's been good to us the last couple.
Okay, want to see me?
Kind of moving a little bit. You're watching Hometown Cable, and that's Joel you're seeing right now. I'm out of the picture right now. Calvin's having a great time back there, and we're at the Laurin home on the not the Hayford Road, the McCrae Road. And we're going to take a sharp break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about money, expenses, and the other problems, not only the pain and the anguish involved in eyes and with children. Thanks very much for watching and for understanding. You have children at home. We've got some right here, right in front of the camera. Hope you enjoy seeing them. That's Joel.
Smile like a pretty girl does.
Now, this happy picture you're seeing on the camera right now is 5 people. See these 2 children and this lovely couple here. And I am not the grandfather of this group. I'm Bob Ben, as you're watching Hometown Cable. And this is Stephanie, our subject today with the Laurin family right here. The girl that is a nice picture in the paper. And we were just going to ask Lynn. Lynn, you mentioned you go down to Albany every week, every 2 weeks. What's the attitude of your daughter on the trip down? Does she know what's happening? Does she feel like you don't want to go or anything like that?
Stephanie has impressed me in this area, and the doctors as well. The way she has cooperated when she's in the office, when she rides down, she's very good about it. Like I say, we can go there and come back in one day, and that's almost 6 hours of riding, and she's very good. She loves her doctor. She says that she doesn't hug him and stuff, but she loves him.
Hug your
brings
doctor?
him chocolates and cookies and the whole bit. Yeah,
She
really loves him.
Okay, and if you have to go down the night before, you said that you stay at a motel, do you?
No, we don't. We stay at the Ronald McDonald House, which they have helped us tremendously. I mean, the expenses. If you want to donate, you can. If you don't have the money, you don't have to. It's great all around.
Okay, people out there, when you stop in the McDonald's and you see that canister there and you want to help, it's for people like this that they have that, or all those other people you mentioned with the other children in that ward. Yes. They're staying at this Ronald McDonald House. The nearest one to here, I believe, is in Burlington. And I know people in our area have stopped. So if you want to do a good cause, drop a little bit of money in there when you get your change from your hamburgers. All right? And of course, I mentioned money always comes up. This obviously very expensive operations and everything. Is your insurance come even close to covering this?
I've been very lucky in that. Part of my pay from working in a farm is a health plan, health insurance, and the doctors down there have probably had a couple slips that get messed up that don't get submitted to my Blue Shield and Blue Cross, and you know, once they realize that they've been messed up, they just send them back, and they've been getting paid for. I have to pay for a small percentage of medicines, but it's on a 80-20% thing, and once you pay for the medicine, you submit the slip, and you get the 80% back, but you have to reach a deductible and stuff like that.
But operations-wise, it hasn't cost you much out of your own pocket?
No, I've like I say, at the most, I've paid probably $50 to $60 on
Unbelievable.
On some of those, you know.
Unbelievable. Of course, you do have your expenses going back and forth, and your food down there, and the other things, and that. But a little price to pay to get your daughter's sight back.
Exactly.
And you did want to mention that you're not home free yet. This is February operation, and you said up to a year there could be a problem. There could be a rejection.
Still rejecting. Yeah. The doctors are saying that within the first year, then he can give you a percentage of what the eye may do and may not do. But he says within the first year, there's still a big chance of her losing that eye for just unhealthy reasons. The tissue is still weak, and you've had a change and stuff in there, and things like that. So she's got another year from February of this year to go before we can say that we're feeling really, really safe about it. So
okay. We've been at the home of Jeffrey and Lynn Laurin here on the, I want to say Apron all the time,
the McRae
Road. And when that's near the town garage on Route 9, and you head east from there. And you also live here?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Now, there's your picture. Look, see, here you are talking. Say something.
No.
Huh?
You go to bed.
Who's going to me? I have to go to bed?
Me.
You got to go to bed. You going to eat before you... Did you have dinner yet? Did you eat yet? Say, no, I'm going to eat as soon as you leave. And so I better get going pretty soon, right? You getting hungry? Huh? Look. Wave. You can wave to yourself. Wave. See? All right. Listen, you know what you should do? You have 2 grandmothers and 2 grandfathers, right? Look, why don't you wave to Grandma Lanto and Grandma Laurin? We'll wave to them, right? Say hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
Hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
Well, yes. And Joel, you want to say hello to Grandma and Grandpa? Huh?
This one here?
No. They're not here, but they'll watch
see
us
you on
on TV. Say hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
Hi, Grandma.
Yes. Okay, and your brother? We're sorry brother's not here. Is there anything else that I have not talked about, because I don't know enough to ask you the questions that you'd like to say?
no, I'm just glad that we had the chance to talk about it and inform people a little bit about the seriousness of what's happened, and there's a lot that when you're a parent that you got to go through, and I think through this whole ordeal we've did our best with it. Even though an accident like this can happen to anybody, you realize that you're not perfect, and it can happen to, like I say, anybody, and we've sort of controlled it as well as we could. So
you lean on each other's shoulder a little bit and grown stronger between the two of you because of this?
I'd like to think so. I would.
Causes a lot of stress.
We've
but
had
yeah.
the stress, but I mean we've pulled through it, and I think that we have become better people. We've become closer, and there's no doubt in my mind. It's been good for us.
Okay.
I mean, it's been good for us in a way, but it's been hard on the other things too.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching Hometown Cable and what's going on here today. We're this Thursday noon on the McRae Road in Champlain with the 2 lovely children in front of us, and yours truly, Bob Venn, sitting on a chair here in the living room. And we're sorry we didn't see your other son. He could be on TV with us. And there's Stephanie. You just saw her from the mouth up and on your camera, and now we're off. We're off the air. Stand by. I guess we're still on, but we pulled the plug out of the TV. But we're still on, and we understand, so we're still coming through. You can watch Hometown Cable every night at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 1 a.m. the following morning, and again at 9 a.m. And don't forget, the reason we're here today are two reasons primarily. Number one, be very careful with ashes around your premises, number one. Number two, consider the Lions Eye Bank. And if you've got any thoughts at all, check with the Lions people in Plattsburgh, Shazy, and they'll give you the story. You can't repair an eye. you must have a cornea, and the only place to get those is from somebody else. And I don't know much about it, but I'm sure the people from the Lions Club will be very happy to. And do you want to say goodbye to anybody out there?
Goodbye.
No.
No, you don't want to say goodbye? Okay. Say hello to Mom and Dad.
Hello, Mom and Dad.
You too, Lynn?
Mom and Dad are away.
Oh, well, yeah, but they'll be back later. Thank you very much for watching Hometown Cable, and we hope you tune in every Sunday night to what's going on here. And if you have any ideas for shows, please contact me and let me know. One more thing, I'm still looking for information on the canal boats on River Street here in Champlain, New York. And if you have any pictures, stories, any comments at all, please contact me at home in Champlain, and we're trying to set up a program on that. I've already talked to Henry Fish in Plattsburgh and a few other people, and I've got a few pictures lined up, and we're still working. We're not sure we're going to be able to do it, but we're still working toward it. Thanks very much for your comments otherwise. You ready? Tune in this coming Sunday night, and you'll learn about this Laurin family that we're sitting with here in the living room. We're Stephanie, Joel, Lynn, and Jeffrey. Stephanie is the poster child you see on the milk cartons because of eye surgery and cornea transplant. Big article in the Plattsburgh paper, March 26th. Tune in this coming Sunday night and meet her and her family and learn about this precious young child and what happens on a cornea transplant and how she's progressing and so forth. You're watching Hometown Cable, and it's What's Going On. Here's the name of our program. I'm Bob Venn. And tune in Sunday night. Tell them to tune in Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Sunday night is it.
Join in Sunday night. Hold on.
40 minutes. Okay, that's...
40 minutes.
The program is called What's Going On Here. I'm Bob Venn. We're on every Sunday night. And this morning, we're very happy to be at Andy's Shoe Repair. Andy Juno. Good morning, Andy.
Morning, Bob.
Good to see you again. Andy, we did come in here a couple weeks ago and asked you, Calvin had mentioned it a couple of times, whether we could come in and do a little story about shoe repair. And you showed me around just a little bit, and I do have a few ideas what we're going to do. And just give you an overall view of the shop, and then we're going to go and show you how this got started, all right? We'll show you how the Junos got into the shoe business. First of all, tell us a little bit, who's Andy Juno?
Well, I've been in the shoe business here for about 22 years, and I worked at Harris Graphics for 42 years, and my uncle was in the business, my grandfather was in the business, and there's been a shoe man in the Juno family for approximately 104 years.
You were born in Champlain?
I was born in Champlain. My grandfather was born in Montreal, and he moved to Champlain in the early 1900s. And when he moved to Champlain, he started a shoe shop in Costello Block. And
tell the people out there where the Costello Block is.
The Costello Block is right near Clinton Auto. Later on was known as the Bayshore Block, and it burnt in middle 40s, I think, or late 40s. And my uncle had a shoe shop down, so my grandfather had a shoe shop.
So that's Eggtill's garage area now,
it's
right?
in the front.
In the front of where the Eggtill's garage was.
Yeah.
Are these lights bothering Calvin at all right from there?
I can shut
No,
it.
oh no, just move over here just a little bit. Get out of that light.
Yeah.
All right.
And then my grandfather ran the shop until it was 19.